doesn't have any power.
Chuck, I don't agree with that. People were outwardly racist while Trump was in office. He gave them white people.
Like who?
He made it comfortable for people to be outwardly racist about how they fit. Chuck,
no, he didn't.
The climate was a lot different.
Studies came out about the racial divide trending in the wrong direction in 2013 when Barack Obama was entering his second term, when the Black Lives Matter movement jumped off. Let's not make it seem like Donald Trump led to this big increase in the racial schism in this country. That happened under Barack Obama. Since we want to go there, since we want to go there.
But did it happen?
Since we want to go, it happened. Yes, it did happen. Yeah. We talk about one-way aggression. You allowed to be openly racist towards one particular group of people, and it's white people. Let's call a spade a spade.
White dudes are pussies.
White men are the issue.
White men are the biggest threat to America. They are.
You got analysts on MSNBC, CNN openly referring to Donald Trump and his voters as Nazis. Nowhere in popular media do you see white people saying the kinds of things that you see people saying about white people on national television, from Joy Reid, Trevor Noah, Don Lemon, over and over again.
But Chuck,
you don't see that anywhere else.
Because you can't get on mainstream media and make light of other races doesn't mean that the racial climate is still not what it is. The
reason why the racial climate is what it is because that's what critical race theory seeks to do. It seeks to polarize for the purpose of finding people who are sympathetic to your cause. And you keep on dividing one group onto itself until you create a group of disenchanted, angry, dysfunctional people that you can then use for the purpose of your liberation. That's not my words. Those are the words of Herbert Marcuse himself.
So I'm going to talk about how leftism leads to racial division. As you saw from the intro, my brother broke it down, boy. He broke it down. Herbert Marcuse. I thought I was the only one who knew where leftist ideology came from. And the dude was a socialist, if I remember correctly, Herbert Marcuse. Let me know if you guys know who that is. Because this guy, he's the father of leftism that we know today, right? He's the one who created the term, the double speak, accuse your opponents of what you're doing. You cannot allow dissent to openly express itself. And you wonder why leftists doesn't want you to do your own research. And I want to come back to this. I always make this point. I think it's a great quote. Emotions neither prove nor disprove facts. There was a time when any rational adult understood this, but years of dumbed-down education and emphasis on how people feel have left too many people unable to see through this media gimmick, Thomas Sowell. God bless him. And the points I'm trying to make here is the fact that we live in a day and age where you can be overtly racist towards one particular group of people. You kind of got the clues from the intro, white people. Because let me put a scenario, then we'll go into this video of a conservative asking a question, debating the merits of white privilege. If you believe someone is inherently, let's say, evil because of their skin color, is that racist? What? You said no, it depends? If it depends, what do you mean if it depends? If any person makes any claim, any prejudice towards someone based on their race, they are racist. It's not because of disproportional outcomes. It's just disproportional outcomes only mean that a certain group has different outcomes from another group. And there's different factors attributing to that. It's impossible to prove to me that the discrepancies is only due to one factor. And if you think race is a factor, I'll grant you that. But you cannot prove that it's significant enough to justify saying that it's because of racism that you see this disparity, that you see inequality. Inequality can happen for many reasons. Where you were born, what actions you decide to take, what family you were raised under. There's many reasons that can have more impact on your discrepancies than your skin color. And this is the argument many conservatives attack the racial lines or racism argument that many of these pro-blacks, black liberals, black Democrats love to perpetuate in our culture. And white privilege is another kind of racist ideology, so a racist concept, because if I say you have black privilege and the only reason you got your job is because of your skin color, many leftists call it racism. But then when conservatives say, well, the reason why you're getting this outcome and the reason why you got people saying that is because there is a program called affirmative action, which you give certain races of people more rights than others, more advantages than others, more leverage than others. Make it make sense. So if you remove affirmative action, people lose that argument. Okay, yeah, you probably got the no more affirmative action, no more racism. But you put into place a system that creates an incentive structure that creates racial division. Because end of the day, affirmative action is racism under new management. I rest my case.
Hi, I would like to preface my question with a couple of words from a fellow American and a fellow Christian myself. So I would like to open with a verse from Leviticus 19, verse 15. It says, "You shall not do injustice in court. You shall not be partial to the poor or defer to the great, but in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor." And that, to me, relates to the institution of white privilege and what the liberalists claim that it is. It is not to put white people above. It is not to bring black people down. It is to judge what wrong has been done in the past by white people.
That's her whole argument fall apart on this simple question. What does leftists, many of them claim that is considered white privilege? Oh, expecting black people to show up on time is white privilege. Expecting critical thinking is white culture, right? Thinking logically, linear thinking is a concept of white culture. These are all the built-in excuses that many of these black liberals, black Democrats, black progressives love to push out in the forefront of, oh, this is how we prove systematic racism, aka re-reaction. That the idea that the reason why you can't pass a math test is because you think the game is rigged against you. When in reality, did your ass study for the math test? Statistically, no. Asians perform the best out of any racial group when it comes to academics. When you look at income, Asians have the highest income over whites. White people place like 5th place. How is that white privilege? Every statistic, every empirical evidence that I try to find to see how can someone come logically to the conclusion that white privilege is a thing, I find information that goes contrary to the belief. Because if this system was built on white supremacy, how come white people are not at the top in academia? How come white people are not at the top when it comes to income? Make it make sense. But this is the narratives they run with, because end of the day, it starts off with, I open up the intro with, these people operate with their feelings, and they find information that confirms their feelings instead of letting the feelings being confirmed by their experience or by the data. And many people, under the presumption that they're black, we're supposed to automatically believe their story about racism. I believe a black person's story of racism the same way I believe a white person's story of racism. If a white person say they face racism, I want to look at examples. I saw an example of a Starbucks manager. She got fired because of her skin color. This was a white lady, and she won her lawsuit. So if this lady told me, yeah, I face racial discrimination, and then she showed me that she won a lawsuit against Starbucks, I'll believe her. But all this racism that all these black people face, and I'm like, yo, y'all could get a check. Y'all could get a bag. Go file those lawsuits. None of them file lawsuits, and when they do, it's found to be some other thing. Make it make sense. You give a bad attitude, someone give you a bad attitude back, you're going to say it's racism. Make it make sense. And the reality is, and this is what's going to happen right now with racism, because too many people cried racism and got proven wrong, Jussie Smollett. And now people are having this assumption that, oh, racism lost its value. Oh, these people are using racism as an alibi to justify their bad behavior, their bad attitudes, their wrongdoing, to absolve themselves of any type of accountability when they break the law, when they get held accountable in the law, that they use it as a way to scream mercy. Oh, I'm black, I've been oppressed all my life. When the large majority of poor people in this country are white. Black people are disproportionately poor, Kenny. Sure, I'll grant you that. But end of the day, it doesn't disprove my argument that most people, when I say poor people, is mostly white. But this country is disproportional. Black people are only 30% of the population, but they represent 23% of welfare recipients, of people who are poor. And I will go with that discrepancy and just say that's due to the choices that black people make. Because black people make disproportional choices as a people. You 30% of the population, but you commit 50% of the crime, and you're surprised you make up a large portion of the prison system? Make it make sense. Isn't that not cause and effect? You break more laws, of course your butt's going to be in jail more than other groups of people. But it seemed like there's this idea in the black psyche that they're perfect because of their skin color. They can do no wrong because of their skin color. And this is where it's leading many other groups, Asians, Hispanics, whites, even some blacks such as myself, to see that a lot of these race hustlers are using racism as a shield and sword. And people are tired of it. And this is brings me back to the point about white privilege. White privilege is a racist concept. It needs to go. You can't fix racism by pushing racism. Makes no damn sense. But this is the contradictory and counterproductive things that many people on the left do to absolve racial justice. How you create racial justice with racial injustice? All you're doing is, only thing you're guaranteeing is these race hustlers continue having a job. Because once black people hit a certain point, they're going to start race hustling for the white people. And they always going to have a job. It's a perpetuating cycle. Round and round you go. And you expect white people to just sit there and take it? One-way aggression. One-way racism from black people. Don't take it from me. There's polls out there that show that whites, Asians, and Hispanics all believe that black people are the most likely to be racist because they're the most likely to get away with it. You ever heard of this? I can't be racist because I'm black. Using a racist statement to justify racism. How we come full circle as a country.
So we can learn from our mistakes and move forward in this country. And so I am going to be blunt, since you were advocating for violence, such as your example with hanging and Muhammad Ali. I just want to know, what is the point in spreading blatant lies as we referred to before, such as like the liberals were taking over the government to elect black or like liberals en masse. I mean, if you look at our Congress today, it is 70% white.
He's talking about the schools.
I just want to know why.
Well, that's not a lie, because if you look at the black community, which is what I'm talking about, almost 100% of our representation are liberal. When you go to any city, any majority black district, the person that represents that area is a liberal.
Correct.
So when you're talking about a lie, you obviously don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Because that's a fact. It's not a lie. Also, when you start talking,
You know black people in the room. Ooh. And this is the problem too with liberals. This is the mess. This is me. Look, liberals, don't get mad at me. Democrats, don't get mad at me. I'm just telling you about yourself from an outsider's perspective. Y'all come across as people who don't listen. You don't listen well. You don't listen to understand. You listen to respond. That's the narrative that surrounds liberals in many non-Democrat circles. That y'all don't listen. Y'all condescending. Y'all very intellectually arrogant. You think you know everything. And then when you get checked, y'all cry victim. And this is this perception around liberals. This is why many people don't like liberals right now, especially Democrats. We don't like Democrats right now because y'all come across very disingenuous. He's talking about, hey, look, black people elect Democrats. There's only one way that black people are allowed to be presented politically, and that's as Democrats. Minute a black conservative come up, minute a black Republican show up, Democrats, white, black, Hispanic, it doesn't matter the race. All the liberals go out and try to essentially lynch black conservatives because we are a threat to their little narrative machine that they're trying to build. Because like I said, liberals rely on perception. For a liberal, perception is reality. And if there's a perception that there's some black people who don't see the liberals as the benevolent, moral, virtuous saviors that they think they are, that hurts their ego. And they start getting calling you coon, all this stuff. Oh, you're not really black, right? Or imagine a white liberal telling you you're not really black, right? Imagine that. But if a white conservative tell a black Democrat that they're not black, they'll take offense to it, right? As we see with Kamala Harris. But they've been saying this up and down all their life. But now, when they get a taste of their own medicine, they want to cry foul.
talking about what white people have done to America, it's about what a white person has done. I don't believe in collective punishment. I'll make you responsible for what you did. I'm not going to hold you responsible for what somebody else did 100 years ago or what somebody else did today. I hold you responsible for your action. You hold me responsible for my action. In the same way that some white people believe that black people are lazy, shiftless, and ignorant and whatnot, that's not me. In the same way that most of y'all believe they're on their knees begging and slobbering and asking for reparations, that's not me. I don't believe in collective punishment. I deal with you as an individual. Individual. Therefore, white privilege is a lie. I've asked you very simply to show me the white person that has privilege over me. Nobody stood up. Do you think you have privilege over me?
Yes.
You're crazy. You're insane.
She actually answered this question? Did she actually? No way. No way she answered that question. Nah, I must have misheard that. Let's try it again. I think I misheard that. I don't think she said that.
I've asked you very simply to show me the white person that has privilege over me. Nobody stood up. Do you think you have privilege over me?
Yes.
You're crazy. You're insane. You have no privilege over me. Let's make this absolutely positively clear. You have no privilege over me, and if you got it, show it to me right now.
My parents had generational wealth.
You, what's your privilege over me?
Being born in a good family, it is a privilege, but that's not white privilege. My kids are born in a good family. My kids have a better start than I had when I was born. In '96, when I was born Little Haiti, South Florida. I don't have as much advantages that my kids have. My kids go to soccer practice. Their mom homeschooled them. They see their mom every day. They don't have to go to daycare like I had to go to daycare at their age. My kids are privileged compared to me, but I'm their father. So is that white privilege? Or that just means being born in a two-parent household privilege? And this is going to be the crux of my argument about the whole white privilege crap. Is that what you're trying to say is that inherently black people are inferior to white people? Because as a conservative, I say, yo, all black people have to do is just make the same actions, the same decisions. All black people have to do is make the same decisions as white people do, and they'll get the same outcomes. Outcomes and decisions. The ones, like, the idea that, a two-parent household, but if you're black, you're somehow doing worse off than a single mother white woman is an asinine argument, especially when you look at the evidence. When you look at black poverty, only 4% of married black couples are in poverty. That means majority of the people who have a higher propensity to be in poverty are single parents. Single parent black people are more likely to be in poverty than married black people. Married black people have the same poverty rates as white married people. White married people have a higher average income, so their standard of living may be a little bit higher, but that's not because of their skin color. That's just because white people are more likely to be educated than a black person, especially black men. But here's a rationalization. Literally, she's telling me, hey, I'm better than you because of my skin color. I come from a two-parent household because I'm a white woman. Make that make sense. But white privilege isn't a racist idea? That's like me saying all black people are criminals because 50% of the crime is committed by 13% of the population. There's an overrepresentation of black people committing crimes, so therefore I castigate all black people as criminals. This is the collective justice that he's talking about. You can't condemn a whole group of people just because a certain group, a super subset of individuals are making a certain decision that's producing a certain outcome. The reality is that's those individuals. It just so happened black people commit 50% of the crime. That's how conservatives see it. But are you telling me progressives, people on the left, that black people are committing crimes because of their blackness? Is that what you're going to say now? Because that's essentially what the white privilege argument is. You're saying that your actions are not defined by your culture. Your actions are not defined how you were socialized or your own individual decision-making or the actions that you take. You're saying that all of it comes down, the root cause of all that is your skin color based on how you were born. Regardless of your situation, you're telling me a white man has more power than Barack Hussein Obama. Are you shitting me? Are you kidding me? So a poor white boy from somewhere, Eminem style, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, you're saying he has more power than the richest black man on Wall Street. You out of your goddamn mind if you think that's real. If you think that's true. That's a delusional take if I ever heard one. But let's continue.
Exactly.
Well, you tell me.
Let her speak.
We listen to you the whole time.
Yeah, let her speak. Come on.
Shut up, boy. She's speaking.
My parents were able to own a house prior to 1960. Their parents were able to own a banking account.
I own a banking account. My mom owned a banking account. I have a house. I'm 28 years old. So am I privileged now? Even though I came from a single mother household, right? Even though I came from a divorced household, like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. And I think the reason why I have the outcomes that I have is because I decided to make different decisions than the average black person. I didn't go to school like the average black person. I didn't get caught up in crime or go for the same majors that's typical for black people in general, right? I went for science degrees. There's certain degrees that don't have a single black graduate in them, but you want to still make it about race. When you look at behavioral stats, like for instance, homework, Asians do 1.5 more hours of homework than any other race of students. And if you look at the chart, I think black people do the least amount of homework. They spend the least amount of time on homework. That's actions. Those are outputs. How are you spending almost 30 minutes, only 5, 12, 20 minutes doing homework, and you expect to have the same grades as someone who spent an hour and a half doing homework? Do you expect to have the same outcome? No. And this is essentially what the argument is. Everyone does more work. Everyone spends more time on something. And the black person expects to have the same outcome? That sounds greedy. That sounds delusional. That sounds entitled. Just like black people run sports, right? 78% of the NBA is black. No one complains about black privilege. Oh, people assume you're a good basketball player because of the color of your skin. You're going to say, no, it's not because I'm black. It's because black people tend to be good at sports. That's pattern recognition, but it's white privilege. No, it's decision privilege. You make good decisions, you get good outcomes. If you have bad outcomes, it's because you made bad decisions. Very simple cause and effect, but you want to blame your race because you want to absolve yourself of responsibility, using racism as an alibi. That is the truth about white privilege.
They were able to go directly to a bank. They were able to own a house. They were able to get a job, and all of that wealth accumulated through the generations onto my generation. So that is why I was able to. Yes.
You're crazy. You're insane. Yeah, that's crazy. You don't have any privilege over me.
Speak. It's time to speak. Speak. I'm doing it. It's going to do it. You speak. Okay?
Man, who are you?
Yeah. Sorry. I'm just getting emotional.
You see a Christian? Go to your shrimps.
You getting emotional over what? I thought you had privilege over the guy. But because it wasn't going the way you thought it was going, now you're crying. That's entitlement. And this is the problem we have in our culture, right? We value self-esteem versus self-control. Self-esteem is, oh, I think I have privilege over somebody because of my skin color. And then when the guy don't go for it, he stand on business. He stand on business like a gangster. He said, exercise your privilege over me. I'll wait. This is the same thing I do. I go, racism can't stop me. Get a racist to stop me. See what happens to him. See what happens to him. Like this is stand on business type of stuff. And when it's not working, she crying. Yeah, you really prove your point with that one.
Speak.
Go ahead.
The fear of the Lord is trying to speak.
Yeah. I think you misunderstood me. I told you that I did not believe in white privilege as a punishment. I just meant it as an acknowledgement, as what crimes have done in the past. And then you came and attacked me for that. You were misconstruing what I am saying actively. It is not that I believe I'm better than you or that you are worse than me. I am not trying to punish anybody. I am acknowledging the system that exists.
Yeah, man, not going for it. Then she gets a sympathy clap.
Was there a question in there?
You don't need to cry.
I was responding to your statement that was untrue.
Which was?
You mentioned something about collective punishment.
Yeah.
I said nothing of the sort.
Okay, you're saying that your grandparents had privilege over me?
They had privilege over yours.
No, they didn't.
Privilege is like an opportunity, right? Right? For instance, I use my kids as an example because my kids break this whole white privilege narrative. If my kids go to school, right? My dad, they say, hey, my mom comes from a single parent household, sorry. Single income household, right? My mom's a stay-at-home mom. The immediate assumption is, oh, your mom must be black. You know, that's going to be the assumption, right? Because they're going to be like, oh, yeah, your mom must be black and your dad must be Hispanic or white. And then they go, no, my dad's a black man. What? Everyone's going to be put back by that because of what? Social conditioning, liberal conditioning. And this is the argument I'm trying to state, that he said the person doesn't have privilege over him because he believes he has the same opportunities to do the exact same thing your grandparents did for you, for your parents, and your parents did for you. That's exactly what I'm doing. I may not have gotten a good start, but how I was taught in sports is not how you start, it's how you finish. And how I finish my life, I'm going to give my kids more privilege, more opportunities, more advantages than I had. And that's my role as a parent, regardless of the circumstances, because I only have control how I respond to situations. I may not be able to control what happens to me, but I could damn sure control how I respond to those situations. If a racist told me I can't do something because of my skin color, it's up to me to prove him right or prove him wrong. That is the reality. This is what Vince is trying to express to this girl. That white privilege can't stop me. Racism can't stop me. Only I can stop me. And this is what the liberals do. The liberals convince many black people to believe in this garbage so they stop themselves. Liberals trying to convince you that racism can stop you. Liberals trying to convince you that white privilege is somehow a disadvantage on you. It doesn't matter. We all got strengths and weaknesses. If you're 6'2", you have an advantage over someone who's 5'10", 5'2". He dribbles well, they're like, oh, that's cool, he can dribble well. If a 6'2" dude is dribbling well and then he can dunk after the dribble, people are going, wow. That's an advantage. And these people are trying to correlate achievement with someone's privilege. Make it make sense. That's like calling LeBron James privileged. LeBron James is privileged now. He's rich and famous now, but he worked hard to get to that position. And this is the argument many conservatives have about white privilege. That what you call privilege is just an outcome of decisions made by the group, decisions made by someone's parents, not because of how they were born. And this is the asinine argument that many people on the left push. And this is what creates the racial division in many countries, especially here in the U.S. And I'm tired of this garbage.
Parents, you didn't know my people, so you don't know that. There was a whole lot of people that were there. But right now, I'm talking about today. You see, again, listen. Hold it, wait. Listen.
I'm done.
To what end is this to make white people do what? I mean, what is the end game of this? To do what? To make white people say they have privilege, and to what end? I mean, what do you want? Oh, I'm asking you, what do you want? What's the end game here?
I'm saying that I don't think we understand the difference between privilege and supremacy, because that is kind of what we're talking about. But what white privilege is
Don't lecture me, young man.
Well, Ellison don't give a damn, boy. Look, and this is I'll end it off as a conservative right here. This is what irks conservatives a lot, is this idea that liberals try to sell this idea that somehow someone else's advantage somehow hurts me. Just because you were born a 6'8", jump like a lemur, quick as a gazelle, somehow that makes me a bad player because, oh, you were born tall, you were born athletic, you didn't have to work for any of that. And somehow I'm a victim of your success because of the advantages you were given by God, nature, whatever you want to attribute it to. And I'm saying, it don't matter if he's a 6'8", I'm worried about what I'm doing. Hey, I may not be 6'8", but I can shoot the ball really well, and you get Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry's not the most athletic guy, but he's very skillful. That's things that he can control. He worked hours on hours on hours developing his skills. And all I'm doing is taking the same template, the same perspective in sports. I take it in my life. Hey, I can't worry about one white person being born to a two-parent household, rich two-parent household, mom's a doctor, dad's an executive in some big corporation. I can't control that. My parents weren't that. My parent was a nurse and a taxi driver, now a truck driver. I couldn't control where I came from, but I can control what I do with my life. And that's what a black conservative focus on. I don't focus on things that I have no control over. That's the biggest form of weakness. And this is why I don't really take much advice from a lot of black dudes, especially if they're a black Democrat, because they talk about this garbage all the time. Oh, you gotta see white supremacy. I don't need to see crap. I don't need to see nothing. Stop trying to convince me of it. If it's reality, show me. But a lot of their arguments is about convincing me. That's why they got to go into a long lecture instead of telling you, oh, look, Kenny, look at the system. The system have a lot of black men in jail, but they're only 30% of the population. My counter, is it due to their behaviors? Do black men commit crimes? What crimes did they go to jail for? Non-violent offenses. Oh, you stole something. You should go to jail for stealing something. And then we'll disagree about whether you should go to jail if someone steals something. Oh, it depends. No, it doesn't. You steal something, you go to jail. And this is the discrepancy that many black conservatives have with black liberals. And these liberals, they want you to understand it from their point of view. And we do understand it from your point of view. But we're saying that doesn't absolve you of being able to do whatever the hell you want or get special treatment because of your skin color. Because what you're arguing for is not actually equality, but special treatment. And you getting mad, or you have some weird warped perception on revenge on white people. And this is where Vince was going for about the collective judgment. That white people, black people who never experienced slavery, who experienced racism at the same degree as Martin Luther King and them, they want somehow revenge on white people that never participated in it in the first place. Make it make sense. We all agree that the son should not be punished for the sins of the father, but for some reason, white people should be punished for the sins of their ancestors. And the funny part is, only 5% of white Americans have any ties to slavery. There's more black people with ties to slavery than white people. But white people, white privilege, generational wealth, generational curses. No, the only generational curses is black people passing on this victim mentality, this helpless mindset, this helpless mentality, this woe is me mentality based on their skin color to their kids. Traumatizing their kids, saying you can't be nothing in this country. It's going to be harder for you to make it in this country because you're a black man. The police is going to kill you because you're a black man. Putting this fear, brainwashing their kids in this fear that they can't do something because of their skin color. I'll never mentally handicap my kids that way. And you can believe that. And this is what conservatives stand on. Conservatives stand on raising strong children, not helpless victims. And this helpless mentality is what's keeping the black community back. Fearful, scared, can do nothing for himself. I'm done. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? I like to hear all perspectives in the comment section. As always, let me hear what your thoughts are on this topic. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.